Last week on the Al Nicoletti Show. Matt, we're here.
Great to be here, man.
We're here.
Appreciate you having me on. 75% of my client base is in real estate in some way, shape, or form. In order for a CPA to properly advise you and give you the right tax strategies, you're going to have your books and records straight. You know, there's a difference between owning a beach home in South Ponte Vedra and owning mobile homes as far as what your value of the asset is that you want to tuck inside of that LLC. We just printed a massive amount of money over the last couple of years, right? And so if that was on your P&L, that's a huge expense to the Department of Treasury.
Right.
Gone. So how are they going to raise their revenues to be able to get that money back? Taxes. That's the way that they get their income. The reason I get so passionate about being like a real estate CPA is because it's like so ambiguous, and I get to watch like the life cycle of a real estate investor. That's a fulfilling part of the profession. I mean, we get so focused a lot on the day-to-day of the business, but at the end of the day, it's like we're put here to help people. It's been a cool journey, and I'm looking forward to the future of it as well.
An Al Nicoletti t-shirt.
I appreciate that,
Look at
man.
that right there, man.
I love your brand.
Thank you.
This is awesome,
Thank
dude.
you. Yeah, we're
It
working
feels
on
like a good material too.
Matt, again, thanks
Awesome,
thanks so much for coming.
Thanks for
man.
asking me to be here, Al. I appreciate you.
Yeah, this is fun. This is
Yeah.
a lot of fun. I feel like we went
agree,
through
man.
so much.
I know, me too, man. My brain hurts.
This whole last week on Al Nicoletti Show is just getting better and better. Thank you, Mike. We had some internet difficulties in the beginning, but we're all set up. We got everything ready to go. So we have the whole virtual setup going today. So before I bring on the guest and before I do my whole introduction and bring Steve on, I just got to say to everybody, it's been a wild week for Al Nicoletti. Been on the road for the last week, just going around. I was just in Tampa on Thursday. This is live, by the way. Like, I'm back. Like, I'm back in Jacksonville. Just for anybody that's probably like, oh, no, he's probably pre-recorded it and he's sleeping. No, I've been on the road. I was just in Tampa at the Tampa RIA, and then I hit the road and I was at the Southwest Florida RIA. We had a great time at both of the RIAs. It was a blast. Everything was great with probate. We talked about everything. It was a great time. But now I'm back for the Al Nicoletti Show on a special on a Friday. You know, it all works out. We'll talk to Steve, but it all works out at the end of the day, all the whole scheduling. So I hope you all enjoyed today on this Friday special, virtual special on the Al Nicoletti Show. Got a great guest. When he rolls and he starts speaking, it's going to be a blast. So stay tuned. There's going to be plenty more of things coming on this show today. Stay tuned. Hey, everybody. My name is Al Nicoletti. I'm an attorney here in Florida, and welcome to the Al Nicoletti Show on this special Friday Night Live, Friday Live. It's been a week, right? And I bring on real estate super investors, rising rock stars, movers and shakers, and leaders of clubs in their community that educate, entertain, and inspire all things on Florida real estate and beyond. The Florida market, because I'm meeting all these amazing people even outside the Florida market, and I have to bring them on the show. They are a must to sit down and talk with us on the show about how you out there can take your company and your business to the next level. On my show today, I have Steve Rozenberg. The story behind Steve was really interesting. So Clubhouse, what an era, right? Back in 2021, Clubhouse, I was meeting a whole bunch of people while we were on the app talking and going through a whole bunch of real estate things. And I connected with Bobby Sharma. And one of those calls led to a message on Instagram about Bobby's like, hey, you want to come speak at this millionaire boot camp that Steve's putting on? I'm like, let me take a look at what's going on. I took a look at it. I said, done, I'll be there. So went to this boot camp back in October, and I was one of the speakers, and I got to meet Steve. And what an event that was that Steve and Bobby put on. We talked all about either it was multifamily, probate, Airbnb, and branding, marketing. It was a blast. And I got to talk to Steve, and I was like, Steve, I got to bring you on the show. I want people to hear your story. I want people to hear about how you got here, what's happening. So this is going to be great. We're going to talk about scaling your business, leveraging your network, and how to truly be successful in your business in real estate. So we're ready to bring him on. Let's bring him on. Without further ado, Steve Rozenberg. Steve, welcome.
Hey, that a introduction. I appreciate you having me, man.
I had to have you. When we met, I saw you down there. God has Steve. Got to bring him on. And your story was fascinating. And we'll talk about one of the big things that really transpired in your life, which was stop saying no, start saying yes to things. And that kind of stuck with me from the Millionaire Boot Camp. And that led to new levels and heights in your business. But before we get there, tell everybody, how did Steve get even into the real estate world? What was that life like then? And how did you transition into real estate? And where are you today?
Wow, that's a big one. I'll do my best. Okay, so my story starts with me doing something which is completely different than real estate. As a matter of fact, I never wanted to be in real estate. I didn't know anything about real estate, and that was not the trajectory of my life. As a little kid, I only wanted to have one job, one career, and that was to be a commercial airline pilot. And I studied to do that. I trained. And at 25 years old, the dream of a lifetime came true. And I got hired with a major international airline as a pilot. I was 25 years old, newly married, flying all over the world. And I mean, I had the job of a lifetime. I had just an amazing life. It was it was a secure job, and it was everything that I could ever imagine. A day in history happened that caused my whole world to crash. And that was 9/11. 9/11 was a pivotal point for obviously many reasons, and many people suffered. For me, it was very pivotal because 48 hours after the towers fell from 9/11, my dreams basically got ripped away from me. I got delivered a furlough notice. And the furlough notice, basically what they told me is, you know what, Steve, thanks for being this good employee, but we don't need you anymore. So that safe, secure job that you thought you had, it was never safe and you were never secure. So now you're going to be on the street with 50,000 other airline pilots. So good luck. And, you know, to say that I was shocked was an understatement. To say that I was scared, I was nervous, that I got punched in the face harder than I ever would have imagined is probably more realistic. So after I licked my wounds and figured out, okay, I can either be a victim or I can be a victor, I turned my focus on two pivotal things of change my trajectory. One was owning real estate. The second was building a business. So I went down the track of owning real estate. I read a book a week. I did everything I could do to buy, sell, flip, wholesale. We're talking houses, apartment complexes, subject to owner. I learned everything. I got mentored. I had coaches. I was all in because hey, it'd be nice to get into real estate became I need to figure something my bills. That was the first part. I then took that knowledge and I spun that into creating a business in the property management sector of owning a business. Okay. So I became a business owner. Me and my business partner, we started a property management company. We started that in 2012. We had a lot of assets of real estate. So we needed, you know, the standard trajectory that a lot of people do. They build it and then they say, hey, I need to manage these properties. A lot of mistakes. We made a lot of bad acquisitions, we'll say, because of us not knowing, you know, inexperience, not understanding our goal, not understanding the destination. So, you know, ego and pride gets in the way. And so we started building that business. And as we built the business, we started understanding that all of my years of experience of being an airline pilot actually was so vital to growing that business. So I took my knowledge of systemization, checklists, standards, procedures, and we injected that into our property management company. And with that and understanding how to grow a business, we were coached every week by a business coach for 7 years. We took that business, we basically came up with the idea, we created it, we scaled it, and we eventually exited and sold for millions of dollars. We were the fastest growing management company in the state of Texas. And we did it off of the principles that I teach people of how you can combine my 30 years of being an airline pilot and being trained by Boeing to understanding the fundamentals of a business and injecting that in with sales and marketing, monetization of your business, and just exploding people, all while still doing real estate, helping people understand that a business will make you rich. Real estate will make you wealthy. So you take the money that you make in a business and you inject that into income producing assets to make generational wealth. So it's kind of a 1-2 punch, I guess you could say, that a lot of people think like, oh, I got a business, that's great. Well, when you die, so does the business normally. When you own real estate, if you set it up correctly with the right entity structure and the exit strategy that you have, it can move on without you. It can live on for a legacy. So what I do is I show people that it's not an either or world, it's an and world. If you really want to be successful, in my opinion, the first challenge that people have is they don't understand how to run a business. And when I say run a business, owning one rental property is a business. So people don't even understand that basic fundamental. And when you take that through to owning multiple properties, that is a huge, huge business, multi-million-dollar assets, running through revenue streams, P&Ls, forecasts, all that, not having an exit, not having the right structure, you're destined to fail. And so I kind of explain to people that if you got in an airplane with me and I said, hey, Al, thanks for coming today. We're not really sure where we're going to go. We're just going to get in and we're going to fly. And we're not sure. It could be Hawaii, could be Rio de Janeiro, could be London. We don't really know how much fuel we have. We don't know how we're going to get there, but wish us luck. How would you feel watching that cockpit door close? You wouldn't, right?
There's no plan. There's no plan.
Right. And so the challenge people have is that's what they do with their business every day. They have no plan, they have no destination, and then they're shocked when their business is smoking hole in the ground because they're bankrupt, they have no money, and they're going, I can't believe that didn't work. That's odd. Is it? Is it really odd, or did you actually just never have a plan? And so a lot of people confuse motivation for, they think motivation is going to get you there. Motivation is a battery. It drains over time. The why, having that final destination, understanding where you're going, and understanding that you will never be successful on your own. I mean, I've coached many, many people, many, many businesses, and not one person have I ever coached or been coached from will tell me that they did it all on their own. They were successful and had no help. That person doesn't exist. But the challenge is as a business owner, we are our biggest problem. We are the roadblock in our own actual success. We self-sabotage our businesses because we feel that we are the smartest person. Nobody can do it as better as me. And we're the reason that we fail. So I work with people to understand it. Look, I was the same way. I'm no genius. Like I said, I never wanted to be a business owner or to real estate. I just wanted to fly a metal tube around in the sky. But I couldn't do that because of circumstances. I still am a pilot. I fly a Boeing 777 for a major airline. I love it, but I don't need it. And I realized that it's a job and I could be eliminated at any moment. So I do it because I love flying. I don't do it because I need a.
Yeah, it's a wild story. I still remember it from the boot camp about everything from 9/11 to that whole furlough thing that changed everything, that propelled you out of that industry really into the real estate world and the partnering, right? I remember we were talking about so many different themes, whether it's that coaching side of it, because at one point you were the student. I mean, I'm sure you would tell me today you're still a student of real estate no matter what, but you were more that student, not the coach, and then you go into that more mindset of being that coach in real estate, and then also partnering up with people, buying the multifamily stuff. I mean, there's so many things we can dive into, but what was that moment for you that realized that you wanted to be that coach to help all the other people coming into this real estate world for multifamily or the like Ashley, right? Ashley Simonelli. Still remember when she had first started in real estate and she wanted to learn from you. You had that mindset of, look, you're either going to do what I'm going to tell you to do or it's not going to work. And you had that mindset going into it. Where did that all come from as that coach?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I mean, I could go down the list of some A-list entrepreneurs that many people know that I've worked with behind the scenes to help them. I'm not the driving force, but I help them stay on the road, we'll say. A lot of people from Bigger Pockets and other stuff that I'm very good friends with. A lot of people ask me that question. It's a good question because, when I sold my business, I'll give you an example. When I sold my company, our business was doing great. We didn't need to sell it. We got offered a very, very big check, I'm not going to lie, to sell our business. And I became a vice president of a company that had about 10,000 properties. And it was a good acceleration for me to get where I wanted to go. And a lot of people would ask me, they said, Steve, why'd you sell? Like, you were doing good. Like, that's the dream. You built a business, you scaled it, you were scaling across the country. You had virtual assistants in Mexico. We had 60% of our company operated by virtual assistants. We understood right person, right seat. I mean, it was humming. It was a multi-million-dollar business. And my answer to people and people watching this is, I believe that life is like a book, okay? And what I mean by that is, every day we write a page every day in the book of life, in our book of life, right? When I think about it, if I go a little deeper, there are chapters in a book, and there are chapters in your life. For example, when you went to high school, that was a chapter. That chapter ended at 12th grade. Maybe repeated by some people, but basically it ended at 12th grade. When you went to college, that was another chapter. Your 20s were a chapter, right? We have these chapters. Right now, a lot of times when people think of having a business, they think that the chapter has to basically dismantle, fall apart, and be this just a shit show in order for you to end that chapter. But the thing is a chapter can be short, a chapter can be long, but it's a chapter, and that chapter ends, and that chapter carries you on to the next part of your life. For me, I built a very, very successful business. To me, it was time to end that chapter in my life. And the next chapter was taking all my knowledge that I've had. I mean, I've been doing this for 20 years, right? I've invested well over close to seven figures in myself, to self-development, to be who I am today. You get to a point of going, okay, how much is enough? How many millions in the bank do you need to say that's enough? Or do you get to the point of going, you know what? I have something that I can help people with, right? And so what happens a lot of times is people identify success or they think they identify success as a decimal point or a comma in their bank account, or maybe the amount of properties they own. I will tell you that is a huge mistake, because that is where you will be sadly mistaken when all of a sudden you get to that point. I cashed a check for multi-million dollars. I still had to get up the next morning and go to the gym. I still had to deal with other things. My car still had bird shit on it. Nothing changed, right? My day is my day. So I realized, like, okay, yes, I'm secure. I've got money, but for what? What's it for? So I have a skill set that I can give back to people. I tell people all the time, and I coach businesses, and I coach people all the time. And I don't say this to be pompous, but I say this to let them know, look, I coach people for $60,000, right? They pay me to coach $100,000 for me to coach them. And I explain to them, you putting that money in my bank account, it's not going to affect my bank account. But what it's going to do is it's going to change your life, because I'm going to do everything I can now to make you successful. I want to put commas and decimals in your bank account, but I don't want that to be the only reason. I want you to understand that there's more to life. I think that we all need to understand that as entrepreneurs, as investors, we can be very selfish as people. And just hear me out when I say this. We watch these shows, right? We watch intelligent people. They listen to you. They read books, right? We do all these things. You said you were at these RIAs. We're doing this for the people that we love. Maybe our spouse, maybe our children. But we never actually share it with them, right? We don't share that knowledge with them. We don't tell them what they're doing. We don't bring them into the business. They know nothing. They just know, oh, Al went to this seminar this weekend. Now he's wrapping something, or he's subject toing something, and now he's on this crazy idea. They don't know it. So we're selfish in the sense that we take all this knowledge and we don't actually pass it down to our children or our loved ones or anyone else, and they don't know why we're doing it. When I coach businesses, one of the first things we do two things. Number one, we identify the sale date of a business. So the definition, as I was taught, of a business is a commercial, profitable, and that runs without you, and it has a sale date. So let me break that down.
Yeah, please.
Commercial profitable enterprise. You need three things to have a successful business. And if you guys are, somewhere, I would suggest you write these down, because I've spent a lot of money learning this. Write it down, guys. Is monetization. Write it down. So number one is monetization. This is getting the freaking money, right? I don't care what you do. I don't care how great your business cards are, the wrap on your vehicle, your Instagram. If you do not know how to get the money, meaning making your phone ring, you are going out of business. You just don't realize it until your bank account says zero. So first and foremost, you have got to learn how to monetize your business and get the inbound flow of money coming in. That's number one. So that takes care of a commercial profitable enterprise in my sentence. That is getting the freaking money, right? And then what I do is I teach people how to grade your clients. So if you flip properties or you have customers, we grade your clients A through D. So a D client is the one who we all know, whenever they call, you're like, motherfucker, like, God damn it. Like, this guy's going to take all my time. He's going to bitch. He's cheap. They take your time. You have to learn how to fire your D clients, right? Then you have it, right? You have one, right? Al, you're laughing, right? You have them, right? They're probably listening to you, but they are the ones, right? So then you have a C client, and your C client is the one that they're either cheap or they take a lot of your time, but not normally both. They're okay. The B clients are good. They pay their bills. They don't bitch. They don't complain. You really never hear about them. They're just quiet. You like dealing with them. Hey, here's your bill. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to flip you this property, whatever it is. And they're like, okay, cool. Never hear from them. The A's, the A clients are exactly like the B's, except they are evangelical. They are raving fans. They are telling everybody about Al Nicoletti. They are bringing business to you. The reason this is important, as you know, Al, is this is what's called repeat business, recurring revenue, which if you know anything about marketing, you have a cost. Every time your phone rings, there is a marketing cost for that. Every time you close that client, there's an acquisition cost to that. If you tell me you're spending no money on marketing, well, number one, I say you're stupid, but number two, I would say you don't understand. You're just using sweat equity for your inbound cost, but
Right.
You are spending money. You and I know this. So the thing is we take the A's and B's, right? And everyone paying attention to this, take the A's and B's, find out what is their biggest problem and how do you provide a solution to their problem? Because that is the marketing message that needs to go to your A's and B's. You don't give a shit about the C's and D's. Those are not the people you want to resonate with. You want to find out, how do you get the A's and B's to buy from you over and over again? And how do you create a ethical referral system that is constantly bringing referrals in from your A and B clients? Now you're making more money, spending less out, investing less in marketing. And now what you're doing is you're getting the good owners, and you're getting more of the good owners, and you're not wasting time with the C's and D's. So that's the monetization. So that's just number one, right? Number two, what I teach people is admin. This is the systemization of your business. This is looking under the hood of your business. This is the part, and I told you, commercial profitable enterprise, that was number one. Number two is that runs without you. Meaning, could you walk away from your business for 3 weeks or even 3 months and it be stronger and more profitable than the day that you left? If you don't have that, you don't own a business, you own a job. And you need to understand that. Because if you can't walk away from that, you are the bottleneck. If you tell me, no, I can't do that, then I would say you're the problem in your business. You're the reason it's not growing, because you think that you need to do it. So I'll give you an example. I got to take this off and get hot. So, all right.
No, Steve's on fire now. Like, here we go. No, Steve,
right,
go for it. Keep going.
All right. So let me give you an example. You fly in airplanes, right?
I've been in there. Yeah.
Okay. So when you're sitting at when you're sitting at a gate and you see an aircraft just sitting there, aircraft coming into the gate, you probably don't think anything about it. You're like, oh, the aircraft's here. What you don't understand is you are seeing business mastery in action. And I want you to think about this. Everyone watching this, I want you to think about this next time you are at the airport. Really think about this. I fly a Boeing 777. That's a 600,000 pound aircraft that holds over 230,000 pounds of fuel with 380 passengers on board. Okay. This basically massive piece of machinery comes up to the gate, which is essentially an apartment complex with wings. It comes up to the gate and you see all these people descending on this aircraft. You got baggage handlers pulling the bags out. You've got fuelers hooking up fuel valves and pumping fuel in it. You've got 380 people getting off the aircraft. And then you have cleaners cleaning, catering's recatering the airplane. Flight attendants are getting the flight ready. Pilots are getting the flight plan. They're doing all the things that they need to do to get the flight plan ready to go again. 380 people get back on the aircraft. All their bags are unloaded. Aircraft pushes back in an hour. And not one of us have talked to anyone else. We all know our job. And that is business mastery. So to all the business owners is, we call it the dance. In the airline industry, it's called the dance. Okay. My question to the business owners is, what's your dance? Now, it may be a raving mosh pit, or it could be like a tango. When you look at the airline and really think about this, it is, whether I'm in Tokyo, Japan, Rio de Janeiro, London, England, or Tampa, Florida, it's the same dance. Think about how a business is scaled so perfect that I know, look, if that fueler doesn't put the right amount of fuel on the plane, it doesn't matter how good of a pilot I am, we are not going to make our destination. It's very simple. Meaning, it would be a catastrophic loss. In your business, if somebody is not doing their job,
Are we good? Hold on, Steve. Hold on. The audio went totally out. Where'd it go? Check the phone real quick. No, it went on his end. I don't know what happened to the audio. He was on a roll for a second. Just like I thought I stepped on the cord, and all of a sudden. Let's see if we can refresh. So while he's refreshing the screen, anybody drop a comment. Yeah, I know. All of a sudden, it's just the audio went out. If you're thinking of a dance, what dance would you do if you were in that situation that Steve was just talking about? What kind of dance would you be doing? Yeah, James can hear me. We're good. Yeah, we're good there. Okay. So I'm engaging with the audience. What dance they would do? You would do maybe the tango or something. Can we hear you? It went out again. All right, so we're back to Al Nicoletti. We're going to a short commercial break real quick. We're not gonna do the whole intro again, but I'm gonna just say this to the fans out there. Everybody that's watching, you gotta take notes from what Steve's saying. Like, he's dropping so many things right now that you could be taking notes on and implementing them in your business. When he's talking about monetization, he's talking about admin and systemization. These are things that are really important. Yeah, you're good, Steve, there. I think we're good.
I can't hear you.
That's weird.
Can you hear me?
Can't hear that in. Yeah. We can hear you. Interesting. So, but the point is what he's talking about too is dealing with clients that aren't also wasting time too, the time wasting. So you got to be making sure you're writing all these things down that play a role in your business to take it to that next level. So we're going to make sure the audio, no, it's still out. It's on his end. Yeah. Is everybody enjoying it so far? What's going on? So let me go through this real quick. I see Daniel's on. He says the Al Nicoletti. That's good. We got Daniel watching. And then I see Ed Middlebrooks. Ed, I saw your comment before, but the restream was doing something weird. So we see Ed. Thanks. Yeah, I don't know if he can see us yet. He'll keep resharing and refreshing. And so Ed's watching. Tampa was awesome. Zach, my man, he's watching right now. That's awesome. And Beth says, I'm your A girl. Well, look, yeah, Beth, you're the A girl, right? So what Steve's talking about is differentiating your clients from being an A client to a D client. And that plays a role with sellers. So what I was thinking about when Steve was talking about that A through D is how many times sellers on transactions may waste time on the business. And we want to make sure that they're not wasting time, right? They're not wasting our time and making sure we can move on with our business and make money. So that's key. So you got to make sure you have the grade. Is he good now?
Can you hear me? I can't hear you for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's a button there or something because everybody's good here. So that James is there, and then Nina's on too. So that's awesome. So people are watching right now. We're trying to just get the audio all figured out and settled. Nothing on your end, Steve. Maybe there's the button on the bottom. Yeah. So everybody that's out there, tell us that you're watching. What do you want to hear from Steve? If you have a question for Steve, I want to know what you all want to hear from him because he's going to talk about everything from scaling to having a mindset as a coach. So he does a coach series, and he does it the Millionaire Boot Camp stuff with Steve Rozenberg. Check it out on his website. He's got tons of content there, and he actually has where you can join that mastermind. And Steve just rolls with things, and he's just got a powerful way with how he says he doesn't motivate. He just really wants people to take action and do the things that he's explaining based on those experiences. And that's what I learned from him when I was at that boot camp, which was really take action, because if you don't take that action, next step's not going to happen.
I can't hear you for some reason.
Nothing.
Don't know
at all.
why.
Just keep going. Can you hear him? Can everybody hear Steve? Can everybody hear Steve? See if we get some people saying that. Can people hear Steve? Just let Steve know. Yeah, so let Steve know. Just keep talking. It's gonna be Steve.
And then
let's just see. Yes, they could hear him. Just let him roll with the 3, the 4. Yes. Doug's watching. Wow, I see. I never know who's watching until all of a sudden we have an audio issue. Mike, have you noticed that? Sometimes we don't know who's really watching until there's an audio issue. And we got Kobe's on, Keandre's on, Doug's on. I love it. Thank you all for watching on a Friday afternoon. See? It's what it's all about. Steve, roll. Let you go. Go for it. He's got the floor.
nothing. Let me try again. Let me reset it and see if that does
Okay.
it. Hold on.
So the other thing is I'm going to even ask Steve about, just so you all know, is what it's like running a business, the people you surround yourself with. I'm taking notes on this. I want to know how Steve gets consistent lead flow from what he's done in the past with real estate, because now he's into multifamily ventures. Now he's just doing different things in the real estate, and some of the things with the sale of the business. And we're just gonna hang tight. We're gonna make sure that he's good with his audio. Haven't seen this happen on Restream in a while. And we got 12 people watching. This is awesome. We got people watching right now. So if you have any questions for me right now while we're live, you're more than welcome to ask. You got Q&A with Al Nicoletti, or we're waiting for Steve to be on. I can tell you all about what the tour's been like. The tour has been absolutely wild. I can't believe I'm actually here on a Friday. I don't even know what time it is now. 3:42. So it's the tour.
How's that?
Are you good?
I'm good, man. I'm back.
All right, we're good. Okay, I was about to tell everybody about the whole tour. I was about to go on a whole adventure from like last Thursday to now. So you're good. You're good. Keep going. So you said monetization, then you said admin and systemization. Go for it.
Okay, so again, one of the things I think, if you own a business, and again, if you're flipping properties, if you own a rental, you have a dance, right? You own a business, Al, you have a dance, right? Everybody has a dance in their business. Everybody doesn't understand what it is. And so what happens is this crazy, chaotic mess. And what I tell people is it's your job as the leader to create that dance. Now, people hire me and I show them how to do that. You can do it yourself. I mean, I'm not magical. I just look at it from the way, hey, this is how the airlines do it. We've been doing it for 60 some odd years. I've been doing it for 30. It's not rocket science. I mean, it works, and it works all over the world. So when people tell me they can't do it, I'm like, don't say you can't, just say you don't. There's a difference. So again, we got monetization, we've got systemization, and now we have to come up with scalability and saleability. So again, going back to the definition of your business, is it's a commercial profitable enterprise that runs without you, and it has a sale date. Now, some people say, well, Steve, I don't want to sell my business. That's not what I'm trying to say. In order for you to have a saleable asset, means number one, you have to have a date, because if you don't have a date, it will never happen. And number two, it means that it is operating without any of your involvement. If it has any of your DNA in the business that you have to be there, again, I go back, you don't have a business, you have a job. And then the next question,
not again. Oh no. Is he out again? A freeze frame like Steve right now. Do I look like Steve on the screen right now, Mike? Like this right there? Yeah. It froze again. Are you kidding? No way. No, no way. All right, we're back to the Al Nicoletti Show. All right, so I'm going to tell you all about the tour and what's been going on in the last week. This is what it's like running a show. If anybody knows what it's like running a show, it is absolutely a totally different adventure. It's not like running a law firm. The production side to running a show is amazing. Mike Williams, thank you for hanging in there right there. Really appreciate that, man. Steve,
Can you hear me?
are we good? Yeah, we're good.
We're good till we're not good, right? It's all look. That's how it is, right? It's just like business, right? You got to deal with shit as it arises. That's how business owners work. That's how we work. So the understanding of taking your business and scaling it, right? To be able to duplicate yourself over and over again. That's key. So I'll give you an example. There are 12,000 pilots that fly at my company. I can get into the cockpit with any one of those 12,000 pilots anywhere in the world, exactly what that person's going to do in an emergency, getting the plane pushed back. I mean, there's thousands of buttons and switches, and we all know what we're doing because we're trained correctly. So here's the thing. I'll ask a question to the audience, and I can't see their answers. But as business owners, we all feel that we should be involved in our business, right? It's our business, right? We want to be able to answer if somebody's not doing their job, right? And I'll ask you, Al, when someone's not doing their job in their business, do you kind of step in and help out? Maybe, try to give them some advice. Do you ever do that in your business?
Oh yeah, all the time. Advice. I tell them exactly what I would do, how to do it, and move forward.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, and understandably so, your name is on the wall. It's the Al Nicoletti business, right? So you're writing the check. If there's a lawsuit, you are going to get sued, right? I mean, it's understandable. Now I'm going to challenge you something though, Al. You get on an airplane, you turn right. You go down, you sit in your seat, you buckle up, you put your headphones on, not a care in the world. You ever think of turning left? Do you know what's left?
What's left?
That's where we sit. That's where the pilots sit. You don't know me. You've never met me. You don't know if I'm having a good day or a bad day. You trust me that I'm going to get you from A to B very safely and on time, but you don't know me. Now, you're willing to trust your life with me, your family's life, but you don't know me. Why don't you have the same trust in your own business? So think about this. Now, I can tell you in 30 years, I have never, ever had somebody come up to the cockpit in a 45-knot blowing snow landing or getting the shit knocked out of us in a thunderstorm landing in Miami and say, hey, Steve, I think this is how you should land the plane. Now, this is what I'm thinking here. I see that weather. Let's give it this shot. I've never had that. So why is there that inherent trust in that business, but not in your own? And so it's something we really have to think about. I mean, it hits the gut because I know what it's like to run a business. I know what it's like to sit there and say, I'm cutting the checks. I'm responsible. Mm-hmm. But I would ask you, is that a training issue or a leadership issue? It's one or the other. And so you think about that. And this is, again, this is something that all of us need to think about when we own a business. Why do we feel that we have to step in for something like that, but we won't when we get on an airplane? And so there's an inherent trust. And I'll tell you the reason why. Now, look, pilots are not perfect. As much as we like to think we're perfect, we're not. We make mistakes. And I would let everyone know that not only that, but we actually make fatal mistakes. The key is that the system catches our mistakes. We don't have to be perfect because the system is set up to train us so that the system will catch our mistakes. Because when you look at crashes, right, airplane crashes, 99% of them are pilot error. That 1% wasn't caught. The system didn't catch it. So then they go back and they go, okay, how do we fix the system so it doesn't do it? So in your business, what systems are catching the mistakes? You want to build a business so that it is system dependent, not people dependent, so that the system catches the human error and the fatal flaws. That's what I show people how to do. Because if you can do that, you can grow your business in Dallas, Denver, Tampa, Boston, because it's dependent on the system, not dependent on, well, John doesn't like the cold, so I guess we can't go to Boston. I guess you're out of luck. We can't grow there. It doesn't matter. Every employee needs to be interchangeable because the system dictates it, not the person.
Yeah, no, that I think this is all great. Like you breaking down these three pillar and components to being successful and being able to scale and getting out of the way the things that are wasting your time and getting the systems in place is really key for any business. So, like I was saying before, we were going back and forth with the audio. What I was explaining to the audience is, yeah, you have these A, B, C, and D clients, and in real estate, what was making me smile and laugh is that so many of us hear that from sellers, right? And so there's a lot of people, the inventory's tight right now. It's hard to find deals, but there's deals out there. But many times you may come across a deal where that seller is the D seller or C seller, and you get into a time suck with these sellers. And meanwhile, you could be focusing on so many other things that could be an A or a B and actually making you money, or being that mouthpiece because you have an A client. They're promoting Steve Rozenberg or Al Nicoletti, whatever it is, right? And so, what would be your best advice to those out there that are going after deals or going after these situations with sellers, or other situations with networking with people and partnerships that are either a time suck or wasting time? Or I'm just seeing it a lot more, Steve, and maybe that's because my business is scaling, my business is growing, so I'm able to identify what's A through D, and I can tell that I want the A, the B. I want to grow and scale, but we got to get past the rest. What's your advice to that?
Yeah, let me. So I've got a good answer for that. Let me just address a one thing that I hear people saying a lot is I hear people tell me that there's no deals. There's no deals out there. That could be the stupidest thing I hear someone say. And the reason I say that is you're telling me that there's no transactions closing in Tampa, Florida. Like, I'm guessing there's probably thousands that are closing every single day. So for you to say that there's no deals, you have what's called your reticular activating system. That's your filter. Whatever you seek, whatever you say will happen. There's somebody closing deals. Don't tell me there's not deals closing. You are shutting down your brain from not seeing deals. Now, are they the same deals that maybe, from 1990 prices? No. Are there deals going on? Yes. Do you have to change your business model? When someone tells me that, that tells me that they're locked in to a business model that does not work in today's environment. So I tell people that's a you problem. I'm not saying the deals are not as juicy, but maybe you need to change your model because deals are happening. If you tell me there's no deals, I just hate hearing that, only because that's self-defeating. There are deals. You may have to change your exit strategy. Maybe you have to change your acquisition strategy. But there's thousands of deals in Los Angeles, New York. Look, I grew up in Los Angeles, and I wish that I would have bought 30 properties growing up in LA. I cannot buy that same house that I grew up in LA for the price of my parents. If I try, I'm going to go, there's no deals in LA. Well, there's no deals at that price, dumbass. There are deals going on. Just, you got to be realistic with today's numbers and have a plan. Sorry, I had to go off on that tangent. So going back to your...
Steve, you're right. There are deals out there, and people got to realize that you got to get away from those things that are wasting time. That's what's important, because you can focus on that.
When people tell me that, it's like the pity party. They want me to feel sorry for them. Like, oh yeah, that sucks. I don't give a shit if you're not getting deals. Go fucking find them. There are deals out there. You're just being lazy because you're going off of a yesterday's program. It doesn't work. Football teams, you can't go off of the 1980 playbook. It doesn't work. Your business model, because it worked last year, in this society, things move a lot quicker. What worked last year may not work this year in Tampa. That's just how it works. Figure it out. That's your job, to be a better business owner. Someone's not going to come to you like, hey, Al, I know you're not getting deals, but I'd really, really like to sell this property to you because you just aren't getting any deals. So could I please sell you this house at 2018 pricing so that you'd feel happy? That doesn't happen. That's your job as a business owner, to step up. And that's, if you don't want to do it, go get a fucking job. Like, take responsibility for yourself as a business owner. Quit blaming other people and being the victim. I'll leave that alone. I'm done with my rant. So going back to your question.
Micro content right there. That's perfect micro right there. We're going to make sure that's everywhere. Yeah, right. Keep going, Steve.
Okay, so going back to your question, the challenge is when you're looking for the A, B, C, Ds, right? Number one, people don't grade their owners or their clients or their customers, which I understand, right? Sometimes we're so busy being busy, we're just doing stupid shit all the time because we can't get out of our own way, right? And I get that. I've been there. Look, I'm not saying anything I have not personally done myself. Here's what you do. For people that go hunting, when you go hunting a certain time of year for a certain animal with a certain weapon, a certain caliber bullet, certain time of day, certain everything. You sit a certain place. Very, very specific. You don't just take a rock and start walking into the weeds and go, I'm going to kill something. It doesn't work that way, right? You've got to be specific. My point is you have to go after what you want. So when I ask people, who is your target? So normally they're going to be in a price range. They're going to be in an age bracket, right? So let's just use you, Al. I'll give you an example. I go, okay, I understand you could do business with everybody, but if I was coaching you, I would say, okay, Al, who's your target? They're probably somebody who is, I'm guessing, between 45 and maybe 65 years old. Okay, I'm just throwing this out there. And you could, you do a range, right? Whatever that range is. We'll say that's the range for this conversation. Maybe they make over $250,000 a year. And again, this is the person, this is your A and B. Who is the A person that you really want to go after? You'll take the C's, but you don't want the C's. You want to go after the A's. So how old are they? What is their income? What is their common challenge that you're solving their problem and you're doing very well at it, right? What the goal that they want to accomplish and how are you actually bridging that gap to get them to that goal, right? And then, you can even break it down further. Are they male or female? I'll bet you if you broke down your business, you would say, you know what? The majority of these are X or Y, whatever they are, or non-specific. I don't give a shit. They are going to be a certain type of person that you work with. They are going to be, it can even be gender and race specific. It depends. Depends how close you want to shade this. But they're going to be a certain age. They're going to make a certain income. And you're going to go, you know what? What industry are they in? So I'll give you an example. When we had a property management company, 50 to 60% of our clients did not live in the state of Texas or in the country. We knew that we wanted an investor that was between 45 and 70 years old. They made over $250,000 a year. They understand the value of leverage. They didn't want to be the person that wanted to be involved in the business. They wanted us to do it. They had expendable liquid cash. We didn't want someone rubbing nickels together that they couldn't afford to fix the property. So we knew who we wanted. So our messages resonated with that person. We don't want the guy that says, hey, do you want to fix up your house and have me help you? That's not our client. That's not who we want. So when we're going to a marketing event, we're hunting for that person. We're on the hunt. And so when people go to a marketing event, one of the stupidest things I see people do is they go there and they pass out cards and then they get cards. And then they come home, they got a stack of fucking cards and they're like, I don't know what to do with these, right? Go there with a purpose. Go there to say, I want to meet 5 wholesalers that are going to increase my revenue $100,000 over the next 6 months. That is what's called a SMART goal. You go there specific intentions and leave with actionable items. So when you go there, it's about asking questions. If I own a roofing company and I'm going to a property management convention, hey, do you know what the number one roofing expense property managers deal with? Okay, that's my target is property managers. I'm telling them what the problem is. Now I'm the perceived expert and I'm coming to them. Hey, I'm giving a free roof inspection. I'm giving a free tax advice, one-on-one strategy. Here's my card. Let's set up a meeting. What day is best for you? Scan this QR code. Let's set up a calendar right here and let's have a meeting. Now you left with actionable items. You didn't go home with 15 fucking business cards and you're going, I don't even know who these people are, right? I got a florist. I've got someone who paints lines on the carpet. I don't know what they do. And that's what people do. They go there and they just collect cards and they don't have any action items when they leave these events. So my advice is when you go to these events, go there with intention to leave with actionable items. Otherwise, I mean, if you want free drink and free, chips and salsa, that's great, but you're not going there to build your business. And many people don't realize that is a great way to build your business if you go there with intention. And you have to know who your target is before you go. You don't want to talk to the guy who's stuffing shrimp in his pocket because he has no money, because he doesn't have money because he's trying to rehab his house. That's not the target that you may want. You may want the guy that has a great job. They have a challenge. You're solving their challenges. So your question should be targeted to what their problems are. That's how you find the right target.
Right. Purposeful networking, right?
Absolutely.
That
100%.
What it's all about. You don't just go to networking. Well, I mean, there's a lot of people that go to groups and networking for whatever reason they're going. But Steve's idea is to flip your mindset around and change that perspective and go in there with a goal in mind, right? It doesn't have to be like you're going for the whole room, but think about what industry you're going for, what you're looking for, or maybe who you're looking to connect with. And it wouldn't be everybody, but that's what your mindset is, Steve, right? It's having that purpose-driven idea. So I just want to let you know, people out there that are listening, Zach, my man Zach Woldridge is out there. He's like, this guy's speaking my language. Zach. So Zach's got that mentality you have too, right? Get it, move, do next, right? And there's a solution. What are we doing? How do we do it? So that's the kind of thing that you do too, right, Steve? You're like, what's the problem? What are we doing? How do we get over it and do it, right? So that's Zach. He's got that mindset.
Let me give you an example. Let me give you a quick example. Maybe Zach will resonate with this. Again, I'll go back to flying airplanes, right? So imagine you leave, you're somewhere and you leave and you get on an airplane. Airplane does its dance, pushes back from the gate, and it takes off. And you settle in your seat, not a care in the world. You're going to be on time, right? You're going to go have some beers when you land. You flip up your blind, and all of a sudden you see the engine on fire, uncontrollably on fire. And then the cockpit door flies open, and you see the two pilots screaming at each other as to whose fault it is. That's your fault. You didn't check the engine. Don't blame me. I wasn't responsible. That's who you're supposed to do. I was late. And they're yelling at each other, and nobody is putting out the fire on the wing. How would you feel? Well, that's how many people deal with emergencies in their business. So if that's how we dealt with emergencies, there would be a lot more dead people in the air, right? Because that's not the way to handle it. Everybody should learn this and write this down if you're watching us. There are 4 things that you need to do when an emergency happens. And this is how we are trained from airlines and Boeing on how to handle. It doesn't matter if we have an explosion, if we have smoke in the cockpit, an electrical fire, it does not matter. We handle them all the same way. One of the first things we do, number 1, is we take a breath. Okay, everybody, let's just take a breath here and calm down. That's the first. Next thing we do is we establish roles and duties. I'm flying the airplane. You pull out the checklist. You talk to air traffic control, and you talk to maintenance and find out what the fuck is going on. Everyone go. Somebody has to be the leader. Somebody has to take control of the situation, right? Number 3, that's 2. Number 3, we identify the problem. And think about this with your business, right? Think about this. We identify the problem. Do we all agree that the left engine is on fire? All 4 of us in the cockpit look out the window and we see an engine on fire. We all agree. The reason we do that is your mind, out of emotional reaction, very often has in the past said, oh no, I see the right engine. Shut down the right engine. Now you just turn this into a catastrophic situation. Went from bad to worse very quickly. We all agree the left is on fire. Everyone agree? Yep, we agree. And it sounds dumb right here, right? But when you're in an airplane, 30,000 feet over the Pacific Ocean and you got a ball of flame, it gets real serious, right? Okay, then we first identify it, then we confirm it. Everyone confirm left engine indication showing a fire. We all look at the indications on the what's called an ICAS screen. We all look at the information. We go, it's definitely on fire. Okay, now we know it. Now we go to the solution. Solution. I'm flying the airplane. You pull out the fire failure checklist. You get to air traffic control, get us a place to land. You talk to maintenance control and have fire and engine crash rescue waiting for us, and tell the passengers that we're going to do a crash landing. Everyone go. Now we're working towards the solution, right? We'll deal with of who did this and who fucked up on the ground. Because here's the thing. When we have an emergency, if you have an emergency at your office and you're like, oh, I got to go outside and do a smoke break, have a drink, I'm going to go home for the day. We don't get that option in the cockpit. We have to deal with what arises. We still have to land the fucking plane. So when we have a problem, we have to deal with it as it comes. If you dealt with your business with emergencies, and don't get me wrong, I understand people have emergencies in their business, but someone not paying you is a much different emergency than us having an engine on fire over the Atlantic Ocean and us trying to figure out where to put this thing down. Different set of circumstances for an emergency. If we can do that and we can land this plane safe and secure and everyone lives, you can definitely deal with someone not paying you your invoice. If you handle it the same way, we're dealing with worst case scenario. But if you handled it the same way that we do, you would not have those problems. So I teach people let's handle your engine fire right here. Let's show you how to handle your own engine fire, and let's work through the process so that you can do it over and over and over again, because there's an insurmountable things that could go wrong in a cockpit in a day. I mean, you'd be amazed at the shit that goes on, right? You can imagine, right? But we deal with them. Why? Because it's repetition how to handle that. And that is how I grew my business. And that is how we were able to scale it successfully to sell it for millions of dollars, because we had this inbred into our company. And the company who bought us was like, how do you guys do this? Like, we've never seen this before. I'm like, well, we take an airline pilot and an IT guy, put them together in real estate, and this is what you have. And that's how we were able to grow. So, I mean, hopefully this helps people understand. I try to, kind of break it down. I'm not trying to say everyone should go out and get their pilot's license, but I think that the tools I'm giving you are very relatable to your business model. Any business, doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah, I think, Steve, what you're drawing is an analogy from your background and the idea of the airplane industry. And what you're saying is, in anything we do, whether, let's just use the example in a probate situation, we're dealing with the probate. There's the title company, there's the lender, there's the agents, there's all these roles. And when there's something that goes down, somebody's got to take a lead, or everybody's got to come together to figure out what that plan is and assign roles. Don't panic. Identify what those problems are. And that's anything in any transaction people are doing. And I feel like it's these things with those three that you went through before. It's those things when you have emergencies, because frankly, I feel like there's things happening every day. Every day in my business now, I'm noticing there's always something that comes up. There's a this and that. And it's like, what you do now, what you do in that moment is going to dictate how this thing plays out. So it's really taking that breath, that back seat, and really fine-tuning where things are going and assigning out those roles and getting everybody on the same page in that team. Because you work with some great people. They're going to come together, and it's going to be a team effort, right?
And let me just tell you, nobody wants to deal with an engine fire in your business. Nobody wants to have a catastrophic, lose half your revenue because you lost a contract. Nobody wants that. But you can't hope and pray it doesn't happen. You have to prepare for it. Because if you prepare for it, if and when something happens, you're going to have emergencies. You're going to have people fuck up. You're going to have these things. But if your strategy is to just hope and pray it doesn't happen, when it does happen, you're not going to be ready for it. So like I said, I mean, in flying, we practice dealing with engine fires, catastrophic losses, losing hydraulic systems, having the gear not coming out. We train for this all the time. So again, think about this. As professional pilots, you have an inherent trust about what we do. If you're watching a professional sports game, watching, let's say, a football game, that those guys every day are practicing for one game on Sunday. They're preparing. They're going through all case scenarios. My question to you is, do you train your company that way? Are you training your team to be prepared for all cases? Because if you're not training for it, what are you doing? You're hoping, praying that it doesn't happen. And then when it does, it's fucking chaos because no one knows what to do. So you've got to prepare for the worst. Not saying you want it, but obviously you expect the best, but you got to prep for the worst and you got to learn how to handle it. The last time they want us looking at an engine failure is when it's really happening. Because I've had them happen before, and you don't want to go like, this is peculiar. I never thought this would happen to me. It's like, no, we know we're trained. Okay, let's do this. Does it suck? Yeah, but again, we don't want to become a statistic, so we train for it. Same thing in business.
Yeah, and real estate and anything you do, right? Because the audience,
everything. Well, real estate is business.
Yeah, right. You got to treat it all this way, right? So this is all valuable. Everybody that is watching, if you're taking great value from this, make sure you drop a comment, drop a gem, drop a fire, any kind of emoji. Now we have so many emojis that are out there. But anybody that's learning from what Steve's talking about, I think it's really hammering down a mindset. Steve, where can people get in touch with you and connect with you? Because there's other things that you go through. I know you have your boot camp. You have your mastermind, and there's so many things on a real estate side and a mindset side people can get in touch with. So how can people get there and get to that next level?
Yeah. An easy way is obviously on social media. They can find me on Instagram, Rozenberg Steve. It's Rozenberg. They can go to YouTube. I have a YouTube channel, and Facebook as well. I put out a new video probably 2 times a day of stuff like this. So you can get my stuff for free that I educate. I'm a big believer in giving out free education. If you want to learn more, you can go to my website, which is steverozenberg.com. Again, it's Rozenberg. I get people that send me messages all the time. I do my best to answer because I feel that if you ask me a question, it's responsible for me to answer you because you're asking me for something. So I have no problem answering. I answer personally. I answer all my messages back. I travel all over the country, all over the world, speaking and helping businesses and real estate people. I just think it's a way to give back. And so if you can, again, go to YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, you can get all my information. If you want to talk to me directly, you can just go to my website and, happy to help answer questions. I do have a weekly mastermind, which you just did and eloquently nailed it the other day. So I appreciate that. But I get some of the top people from Bigger Pockets and other channels that are good friends of mine to come on to my mastermind and help educate. And it's just a great way to give back to the community. So I do it every week, rain or shine, and I do my best to help out.
Yeah, no, it was great. And again, how you explained all these things was really important. Were you the one at the mastermind that talked about partnerships and how
Yes.
sometimes it's not about partnerships don't disband because of partnerships. They disband because of their spouses. I still remember that. Like that stuck with me. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah. So, the biggest, 70% of all partnerships end in lawsuits or dissolution. And the reason is because number one, they don't have proper expectations. They live in a fantasy land of how everything's going to be great. They don't talk about the exit strategy. They don't talk about the time commitment or the financial commitment. And they don't set rules and regulations of how the business is going to be run. It's like, hey, I'm new, but I'm willing to work hard. Al, you're new, you're willing to work hard. We should work together. It's like 2 fat kids trying to run a race and no one's going to win the relay because we don't know how to run. It's like somebody's got to be the winner of the race. Someone's got to run this thing. So what happens is nobody knows what they're doing. So the odds of a successful outcome are slim to none. So you've got to sit there and say, okay, what are my strengths and what are my weaknesses? And do you complement my strengths? And do you complement my weaknesses? Okay. That's number one. Number two, does your spouse stand the time commitment? What is the time commitment? How many hours a week are you going to put in this business? You may be thinking, oh, Al's going to be doing this full time. And Al's going, I got about an hour a week I can do. That's never discussed, right? How long, Al, can you do this? Al says, I can do this for about 6 months. I go, well, shit, Al, I thought we were doing this for 5 years. 5 years? I don't have 5 years. I want to be in and out. Bad alignment. Then, okay, Al, how much money do you have to put in? I'm going to put in 50 grand into this business. Okay, what about if there's a cash call? What if we have to put more money into this? Al, do you have more money? Nope, 50 grand's all I have. Okay, well, I'm the sweat equity guy. You're the money guy, Al. You're supposed to cut a check every time we need it. Oh, my wife won't let me cut more than 50. That's all I'm allowed to give. All of a sudden, the spouse gets involved. And she's like, Al, what the fuck are you doing? You're not putting more money in that with that loser, Steve. He doesn't know what he's doing. No more. Now you got to come to me and be like, hey, man, sorry, my wife won't let me do this anymore because we suck at this. And so what I recommend is when you have a partnership, you've got to bring the spouses on board or significant others, and you got to create a board of directors. So the board of directors needs to be you and your spouses or whoever else could have a say in the matter. And it's not that they have to be involved in the business, but they need to be enlightened in the business and they need to be aligned with the strategy and the exit strategy. So that if they're, and this board should meet every month, and this board of directors should have a common goal where you're going over the P&L statement, the forecast, the yearly goals, the exit goals. Are you on track? Are you off track? Are there any challenges in the business? Have you had any wins? That's when you bring the spouses in and you give them high level. That meeting is not to have that meeting is just to get marching orders and action items to be resolved between that time and the next business meeting. So you don't sit there and have it's not the time that you plead your case. This is the time you say, okay, we're not on track. What I'm going to do is I'm going to analyze it. Next board of directors meeting, I'm going to come back with an answer as to why we're not hitting our goals. Okay, good. Go back. So a
Mhm.
lot of people, they don't understand the reason for those meetings. They never have those meetings because they never create a board of directors. So I think it's vital to bring the spouses involved, because again, it's not the partners, it's normally the spouses that, and I could cite many examples of people that I've coached that, you know, and again, it's sad when it's friends and you're like, oh, we would never fight because we grew up together. I'm like, that's exactly why you have to have the discussion. And more importantly, how do you divorce each other and dissolve the business? That's got to be written in the agreement so that you could say, hey, if this doesn't work, how do we part ways and stay friends? Like, I want to make sure, because look, in the heat of battle and you're pissed and they're pissed, that is not the time to have that conversation of, hey, how do you guys want to split? Fuck you. I'm not giving you any more money. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm keeping the house. Now you've got assets involved and you've got emotions, and that's never a good recipe. So if you can't discuss it when times are good, how is it going to work when you're in the heat of battle and you've got to have these hard conversations? That is not the time to have it. You've got to put it in the operating agreement. Everyone has to agree. If we dissolve the company, we're going to take the assets, we're going to sell them, we're going to split 50-50 minus our infusion. So now you have a goal. And you know that, hey, if this doesn't work, we'll part ways and we'll call it, let's do this so that we can stay friends. And that, I think, is very important to do.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I think that's really important to lay all that out and get your spouses involved in what you're doing, right?
Absolutely.
Because, yeah, you two can work great together, or you three, however many partners there are, but there's also the family side to things, and you have to
Yeah.
get the family on board. You don't know if how many kids they have, what the situation is, and you got to be able to explain, all right, this is not just business, it's family, and you got to get
Well,
everybody on
and
the same
let's
page.
say, for example, let's say you and I go into business together and you're single and I'm married. And all of a sudden now you're, you know, as a single Al, you're like, hey man, I'll work 50 hours a week. I don't give a shit. I'll do whatever it takes. All of a sudden Al gets married. Hey man, I can't do this anymore. It's like, wait a second. You agreed to do this. That all of a sudden, yeah, my wife won't let me. And by the way, she hates you, so I can't really hang out with you anymore. And now all of a sudden, now the business suffers because it wasn't made clear. So it's like when the relationship gets serious, it's like, why don't we bring her into the board of directors so she understands where we're going, so that she has a clear understanding, because the spouse will talk through the spouse, and you'll come to me and be like, hey Steve, sorry man, I my wife will kill me. I can't give you any more money. Like, and I can only do this 5 hours a week now because we've had kids, and look, life happens, but it's a matter of communicating between each other. And that's what the board of directors meeting is for.
Yeah. No, it's a great idea. I think a lot of people will take that and write it down or actually implement it in their business. I think it's really important to have people on the same page and your own family on the same page so you know what's going on. I mean, you can't help it in a situation where all of a sudden then one of the partners gets married, then has kids, and their entire situation changes. But I still remember that from that meeting. And I remember I said that to somebody. I regurgitated exactly what you said. And I was like, it's those things that I don't know, maybe that you're thinking about or you're wondering about, or, you know, maybe you see that in your own business and you're like, here's Steve Rozenberg saying partnerships, they can last, but the things that can make them dissolve are the outside forces. So I thought
Absolutely.
that was golden. I thought that was great. I took a bit from that. So Steve, again, we're going to make sure we put your Chirons up there, your mastermind, and tell everybody, how do they become a part of your mastermind? How can, if they want to join the mastermind and be in that?
Yeah, so they can go to my website. They can sign up. Again, steverosenberg.com. In there, you can click on Mastermind, and we do it every week. I have a full education, real estate education platform. It's on Lightspeed VT, which is the same as Grant Cardone and Tony Robbins. I've got a whole education platform, over 200 videos that you can join up in my mastermind, get some time with me, be able to talk with me. It's a great model. It makes a lot of investors very, very successful because you get the videos, you get the mastermind, and you get a little bit of time with me. So it's just a very, very successful mix. So people that maybe, the people that should join my mastermind are two people. Number one, you're just still trying to figure it out and you just are not sure what direction to go, what you should buy, what you should do, is the first one. And you need someone like me to help you, guide you. The second people are, you're doing good, you own real estate, you're doing well, but you just need that rocket fuel to get to that next level. You need somebody that's an expert to take you to that next level, to hold you accountable, and to get you to that where you want to go so that you can explode your business. So if you're one of those two types of people, definitely go to my website, take a look at it. I'd even be willing to give everyone here a free one-time try. If they, if they want to do that, I'm willing to do that. If they want to give it a shot. Normally when people come on, they're like, holy shit, man. I mean, you think I dropped some knowledge here? Wait until you're in my mastermind. Because I do coaching. I coach people in there. I help out. I ask questions. I give them advice. I coach them, and everyone learns, right? We all win. You win, I win, everyone wins. So I'll let you, if they want to reach out to you, Al, I'll give you a special code. And I'm happy to do that for your listeners. And why not, right?
Yeah, whether it's a code or you can even give them a pop quiz question. Because if they've been paying attention and watching this episode, drop a pop quiz question right now. That means they got all the way to the end. And then if they get the question right and they drop it in, how does everybody feel about that? If you're staying tuned right now and you stayed it all the way on the Al Nicoletti Show with Steve Rozenberg, you're in for a treat, and you just got to get the question right. So go for it, Steve. What's the pop quiz question that we've talked about on the episode today? Super simple. Keep it straightforward. What is that they could take from this episode and maybe get that free trial?
All right. How about how many steps to creating a successful business are there? How's that?
There we go. Perfect. Let's see how many comments drop in the next day or two. I'll let you know. I'll let Daniela know. And we'll see. I'll shoot them over to Daniela.
We haven't even talked about scaling your business with virtual assistants. We haven't even gone down that road. That's another time. That's another event.
Yeah, that's another event. We gotta hear about that at the next Steve Rozenberg Millionaire Bootcamp 2.0. Yeah. That's what we got to hear about. Steve, before you get off, final words, final thoughts, and we'll give it a wrap.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you for having me, man. I'm sorry about the challenges. I'm up here in Austin about to get drunk, so I'm in a cabin now. But thank you for having me, and for everyone watching. Hopefully, you got some value out of this. Remember, whatever you do, it's a business. It's not emotions. Treat it like a business. When you're done, leave it at the office or at your desk. Separate that from your personal life and understand that it is a business. You are going to have bad days and you are going to have good days. And the more that you can remove your emotions, the more it will be successful as a true business model.
Great words of wisdom right there. Steve, it's been a blast. I'm so happy I got to see you here. I was also wondering where you were. You're in Austin. It almost looked like you were at the beach, and I can't see what's there, but it looks, oh, look at that. It looks great where you're at. Wow. Look at that. Maybe we'll show that for the next 30 minutes. It looks beautiful out there. Steve, again, nice. Thank you so much. I can't wait to connect with you again in person, having another boot camp out there. So, thanks again, man. I hope you have a great time in Austin. Keep killing it out there.
Thanks, brother. Thanks, everyone. We'll talk to you guys later.
See you soon, Steve.
Bye-bye.
Wow. That was jam-packed with mindset. So one of the things that Steve talked about at the Millionaire Bootcamp was how he got into real estate, what transpired back when he had first started and how he got there today. But he really drilled down on the mindset to having that business, what you do in tough situations. And you really got to check out his stuff online and his mastermind. It may be a great fit for you out there. There's tons of things that he talks about. He's really good with that mindset ability. And I think it's great stuff. I loved hearing him speak at the boot camp. So I hope you did too. And if you stay tuned, or all of a sudden, hey, the Al Nicoletti Show is live. But if for some reason you've watched this on YouTube and Facebook and iTunes and Spotify, and you all of a sudden hear that part of the pop quiz, drop a comment. Drop a comment, whether it's in YouTube, whether it's in Facebook, and if you get the question right, we'll make sure we get you in touch with Steve's assistant so you can check out the free trial to the mastermind. So tons of value there from Steve, tons. He'll go through so many things, but thank you all for joining. Thank you for sticking around for that. The no audio. It's 2.0 from last week. That was wild. If you didn't check out that episode, it was one of the craziest no audio moments ever. Never probably been any more animated from no audio. So you have to check that out. But for all the amazing content out there, make sure you check out the Al Nicoletti Facebook page, the YouTube channel under Al Nicoletti, the Instagram @Attorney Nicoletti, and the Spotify and iTunes on the Al Nicoletti Show. All the guests from season 1, season 2, season 3. Next week, we have a firecracker on the show. Brittany Thompson. My girl, Brittany. She's going to bring the heat. Like when Brittany's on a roll, I don't know. She probably will come through the computer screen. She is on fire when she gets going in real estate, and she targets, I think it was the Alabama market. So she's a different investor in a different market, but she is super motivating. She's been in the game. She loves going live. She loves talking about all of this stuff on social media. So you got to stay tuned next Wednesday night at 8 p.m. We're rolling. We just did a special today, so make sure you check that out. And again, love you all. Love the fans. Love super fans. I'm so happy how many I saw that were in Tampa and Southwest Florida, RIA, and Orlando at the Mighty Mike meetup last night, and seeing Danny and Mike. It's crazy. And I got to just say, Zach, Kobe, Doug, Keandre, everybody out there that's watching, Nina, James, Beth's watching. Thank you all so much for being fans. We love you out there. We love valued Al Nicoletti Show fans. So we will see you next time on the Al Nicoletti Show, everybody. Have a great Friday. Have a great weekend. We'll see you soon.